Hey there guys, how are you? Good? Awesome. Well, today I have a guest here on this episode, this class, and he's gonna talk about the way he learned English, alright? Because I have already talked how I learned English, but I think it's really nice and important to see and listen to how other people learn English as well, okay? So, the first question, what's your name?
My name is Eduardo.
What do you do?
I am an English teacher.
Okay,
and
good.
I am also majoring in English in UFSC.
I invited Eduardo today because I think his English is amazing. His accent is adorable, and his vocabulary skills are just way better than mine. So I brought him because he's taken over the channel. Okay, I'm sorry. Have you ever left Brazil? Have you ever been abroad?
No, I have never been abroad. I've been to São Paulo once. That's as far from Florianópolis as I've ever been.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you learn English?
It was a mix of entertainment and education, because it was a mix of loving music and loving talk shows, loving TV series, video games, and combining that with the grammar I learned in school, in regular school. So it was a bit of both.
Could you mingle the things you learned in school with the things you were studying by yourself, with the things you listen to a song and then later you compare that to something you learned in school? Did you do that?
It was not as formal as that. It was not as deliberate as that. It was something that I, for example, would read something in a song, would read the lyrics of a song, and then I would learn something in school and I would go, oh, so that's what they want to say. That's what that structure in the song means. So, I would know the lyrics to the song by heart, even though I didn't really know the meaning to everything in the song. And then what I learned in school brought more clarity to my understanding of the lyrics.
Have you studied English in private language courses?
I've studied in a private language course for 2 years, but I was already fluent by then.
Okay.
I had developed a good level of fluency. I entered the course in early 2010. Basically what happened was, my mother was, she said, yeah, your brother is going to enter this English school. Are you interested? And I said, not really, because I already practice by myself. And she said, I'll pay for it. And I said, okay. And
fine,
then,
whatever works.
Yeah, sure. If it's free, it's for me. I had to do a couple of placement tests because the school wanted to put me in as early a level as possible so that they could make more money. And it turned out that I qualified, in the top level, which meant that I would only stay there for 2 years. But in those last 4 semesters were more focused on developing more vocabulary than actual grammar. So what I used those 2 years to practice my spoken English, because it was not something I had the opportunity to practice.
How did you practice your speaking skills before
singing,
getting into this private course?
Basically, I would watch TV shows and listen to music and try to emulate the sounds that I would listen. I was already very aware of the structure of words and how it could relate the letters to the sounds, even though in English it doesn't make a lot of sense to relate the sound of the phonemes and the letters. Singing the songs poorly, but still singing, I practiced the pronunciation of the words. When I started in that English course, I was able to actually practice conversation, and it was a relief. It was finally I had to use everything that I've learned for the past 15 years or so.
So there are linguistic theories that says that people only really study a language or really learn a language when they feel the need of understanding something. So that happened to me when I became a teacher. I studied compulsively, and I tried to observe everything the dictionary had and all the grammar books had, and that sort of worked. Did you have the same thing, or no? You just went through immersion or in the language?
My initial drive, I started learning English almost by accident because When I was a kid, I would only listen to American and British music because that's what my parents would play in the house. Eventually got into, when I was around 10, 11 years old, I got into music and I got into video games. So my initial drive was because I was playing, in 1999, I was playing Pokemon a lot. And in 2017, I still do.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, as you can tell from the shirt. My initial motivation was to understand the video game, but yeah, I think when I really started developing, once I started writing songs when I was 14, because I started playing the guitar and immediately I wanted to write songs. So writing the songs and making sure that my use of language was correct, really gave me the motivation to try and perfect those structures that I was learning in school.
Eduardo, what do you tell your students when they ask you how they can learn English faster or how they can learn English better?
So I don't really have a magic solution for the problem.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. So what I usually do is, the first thing you have to make sure of is that you really want to do it. If you want to do it, that's half the battle. Because then you'll have the motivation, you'll have the drive to go and really study the language.
And what do you mean by study the language?
I mean
How do you see study the language?
I mean taking a time of their day to dedicate and dedicate that time to to the language. It doesn't matter if it's with a book or an app or whatever they want to use. But I usually what I usually tell them is go with something that you're going to like. Use a video game, use, a TV show, books, whatever floats your boat, whatever fits you, do it. The fact that I know English now is not because I am someone who is very persistent and dedicated. It's because I really wanted to have a lot of fun with things that were in English. I think if you want to learn English, you might as well make it something fun. You might as well make it something entertaining and make it something that will not make you tired.
Eduardo, thank you very much. It was a really big pleasure to have you here. And my house,
Likewise.
My place, and this beautiful studio.
Yeah.
You're not seeing, but it's
You have no
amazing.
idea. This is like Hollywood.
He asked me 50 white towels.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, thank you very much for watching. I see you guys around. If you have any question, write down here, and I'll be very happy to answer. See ya. Bye bye.